How goes the family? Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully, you guys are having a great day. It's been a crazy day in the DMV, man. Like I said, I don't get in political nonsense. That's not my bag. You are whatever side you're going to be on. That's your business. But it's been a crazy day in the DMV. Seeing what happened at the Capitol, our nation's capital today, it's crazy. For those that don't know, I grew up in the Washington D.C., Maryland, Virginia area. That's what we call the DMV and whatnot. And to see what happened today was it was shameful, and it's crazy. And hopefully, obviously, those that were responsible are brought to justice. I will say that much. But yeah, it was interesting to say the least. I you know I I've been to Washington D.C. many times, and I can just imagine how people that work up there, that live up there, just seeing this on for their own two eyes, like what the hell, man, like. And a lot of people see a lot of hypocrisy going on. Obviously, you can draw your own conclusions from that. You can, you think that that certain people would have been arrested or possibly shot on sight. What happened today. I mean, it's crazy. I'll put it like that. But um, hey, I'm really at a loss for words for it all. At the end of the day, it's like because I put a funny post up on social media today saying, hey, we made it 5 days through the year without anything crazy going on. And day number 6, everything goes to hell. So cheers to 2022, as the meme says. It's interesting, but that's the time period that we're living in right now. It's just things have calmed down now, but you still have inauguration day. You still have, the rest of the month to get through. So what is going to happen? I mean, you see this happen when state capitals. I think it was at the height of the pandemic. I remember if it were most state capitals across the country, people stormed the state capitals where the governor's mansions were and all that good stuff. It wasn't in every state, but it was in a good chunk of states. I remember specifically Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan and whatnot, and I think some other states and whatnot. So it's interesting, to say the least. And I just had to come online and address it. Like I said, I don't care what side you lay on. That's your business. But it's interesting. I'll leave it at that. And 2021 already, the fires have started. And, the ultimate question is what's next? Let me know in the comment section. Thanks for hitting the like button. I greatly appreciate it. But yeah, what are your predictions of what's going to happen after today's craziness, anarchy, the whole nine, because I myself, I'm just like, wait a minute. I expected to, I saw the tear gas. I saw some rubber, I was expecting to see some rubber bullets. I did not. I knew there was going to be a protest today, but I don't go to DC. I don't have a reason to go to DC. But I did not think that there was going to be, let's just say, what I saw today. And I'll leave it at that. Hey, Chris, if you want to come on, man, Happy New Year, brother. If you want to come on in, I'll put the link in the comment section. You can give me your 2 cents on this, because I'm, like I said, at this point, I'm still at a loss for words, I give respect to the law enforcement that showed up. I give respect to the National Guard, our troops, for handling their business and whatnot. But I'm dumbfounded by it all. I just there's not much to say. I'm just like, where what is going to happen from here? That is the question. What's next on the agenda? Because And the crazy thing is, to be fair, well, I'm just going to be going from memory. I remember 4 years ago when, Trump had his inauguration, and the city of DC, was pretty lit. It was on fire and whatnot. And people, there were protests, there were riots. Certain DC businesses, there were issues, but there were arrests. There were police all over the place. So I can just imagine how this inauguration is going to be. But the Capitol was not, nobody went to the Capitol. Nobody tried to go to the White House. It's like, the saddest thing is the disrespect. That was basically, we've seen state houses being disrespected. Now we've seen the U.S. Capitol be, disrespected. And I think that's the saddest thing at the end of the day. It's like, you live in a world where you can agree to disagree and that's your business and whatnot. But when there's no respect and decency and whatnot, I don't know what to say. I truly don't, I can just imagine what our troops are saying, that especially the ones that are in harm's way overseas, looking at this, because it's very normal for people to, unfortunately, you see this in other countries. One joke is like, what is this, Colombia or something? Like, what's the deal? Not seeing it in something like this in the United States is very abnormal and whatnot. So I leave it at that. I can't really address it any other way. I'm just like, the question is like, what's going to happen in the future? Are there going to be more mass shootings? Or are there going to be more protests? Or, because to be honest with you, I'm not worried about any election right now. I got more important things to do because as a grown man, it's like I said a joke today. I was like, okay, Georgia went blue. Okay, cool. Where's the rest of my stimulus money at? That's my mind is on right now. But I did not think that this is going to happen. Anybody's watching, they want to chime in, I put the link in the chat room. We can have a conversation. All you got to do is click on the link and, we can chop it up and give me your opinions and give me your perspective on this, because I find this to be very interesting times that we're living in. We're in 2021 and, 2020 was already a hectic ride, and 2020 seems to be a, similar hectic ride, because the crazy thing is you still have a lot of unfinished business that's filtered over from 2020 into 2021. That unfinished business really involves, obviously dealing with the pandemic in itself. That unfinished business is, a lot of people have been given an extra couple of weeks in regards to unemployment benefits, in regards to, rental assistance, in regards to forbearance and whatnot. But those issues are still important right now. Like I said, leases are going to terminate eventually. So eventually it's like, hey, a landlord is going to be within the right to say, hey, my tenants aren't paying. I'm not going to renew the lease with them. I can legally not have them anymore. And then does anybody want to see that? No. So you have these things that, still millions and millions of people. And no problem at all, Chris. If not, it's all good, brother. Thank you for chiming in, man. It's always greatly appreciated. Chris is definitely a brother from another mother. But yeah, it's like, you have millions of people that are still out of work right now. So these are the priorities and whatnot. So the fact that all these adults had all this free time on their hands, anyways, they have all this free time on their hands to do this crazy nonsense. It just boggles my mind. It vexes me all at the same time. I don't condone this crazy behavior whatsoever. Everyone has a right to protest and whatnot, but because DC is a protest city, obviously, with it being our nation's capital. I mean, heck, I've worked in DC and there's always a protest going on. It's very normal to see protests, in DC. If you've never been to the nation's capital, if you didn't grow up near it, I grew up in Woodbridge, Virginia, so 40 minutes away without traffic. So going to DC was nothing. But a lot of my Washingtonians, I've seen the post online, and they're just like, this is insane. I can't believe it. A lot of my people are just people that grew up on the Maryland side of the Potomac River. You know what I'm saying? Right next to, if you, like I said, the DMV area, we have a connection with Washington, D.C., or the people that, like I said, my Washingtonians, especially my old school Washingtonians, that have a connection with Washington, D.C. To see something like this, it's just insane. And it's like I said, the disrespect of it all sickens me at the end of the day, but You know, we live in the times where, you know, when certain people don't get their way, they act childish. You have a lot of adults that act childish. I'm just going to call it like I see it. You know, we live in the real world as being an adult. Eventually, you're not going to get your way. I'm just going to call it like I see it. Things are not going to work out your way. If you wipe your face, you get back up and you keep moving forward. You don't have a hissy fit like I saw today. You don't act like a teenager. Basically, I saw overage teenagers, over adult teenagers acting like, you know, 16, 14-year-olds and whatnot. And heck, I've seen a lot of 14, 15, and 16-year-olds have a lot more maturity in class than what I saw today. So it's insane. You know, that's all I can say about that. So let my brother Chris chime in before I call it tonight. I'm definitely up late tonight because I said I had to address this. So what's going on, sir?
Same thing, different day, man. How you doing?
How's the family doing? Happy New Year, man.
Happy New Year to you too, man. It's going great down here, man.
That's
It's
good to hear.
pretty warm down here, but it is what it is.
I know that's right. So what are your opinion on this craziness we saw today?
Well, shoot, my wife was telling me this when I was actually working. I was in the office working and stuff. She told me like, turn on CNN real quick. Something's going on with the Capitol building.
Mm-hmm.
So my first thought was like, what else is new? So then when I turned it on, I'm like, oh, these guys. I'm just gonna say these guys got some balls. They're bold to do this.
Exactly. Because you and I both grew up in the DMV area for the most part, and you know, there's just certain lines you don't cross and whatnot when you go to DC. You know, especially when it comes to the Capitol building, you know, or any Capitol, or, you know, building within, you know, any federal building, period. You know, there's supposed to be a certain line of respect and whatnot. And obviously that line was crossed today, you know. Like I myself, like I said, you see a protest in DC, it's nothing new, right? It happens all the time, right? But the fact that they stormed where the president, the vice president, the speakers of the House and all that good stuff, you know, it's just like, wow. Like to be honest with you, I'm surprised they just weren't shot on sight. You know,
and that's one thing that's it's not puzzling because we both know that whole scenario, but it's supposed to be like if you are now with the White House, if you go to unannounced, you're supposed to be shot on sight.
Oh yeah.
With the Capitol building, you go to unannounced, just you walk into the Capitol. No weapons in hand, just walking in there. Maybe try to get a picture or a selfie. We'll get escorted out and arrested.
Right.
Now,
exactly.
These guys came in there with weapons, and unfortunately, there was a person in there that got shot and killed too.
Yeah, that's the sad part. That's definitely not a laughing matter whatsoever.
Yeah. So, from that being happened to me, that's a threat. Anybody that was in there should have been shot on sight and asked questions later.
Exactly. Or at least with rubber bullets or something like that. But it's like, come on now.
Well, that's the thing. Capitol Police, to a certain degree, has been trained to shoot on sight if it's a threat. There's no rubber bullets involved. It's take them out because you don't know what their intentions are, especially when, according to various news sources, that there's pipe bombs in certain places.
Right.
Like I said, people coming in with automatic rifles and everything. A person got shot and killed in there, and all they got was escorted out.
It's crazy.
That's not right. I mean, great if you want to be pacifist, everything like that. But if your job is supposed to protect the Senate and the House of Representatives, and I think the Vice President was there too.
Right.
So that's the Secret Service was involved as well. You got to take him out.
Exactly.
You got to. There's no exception about that. Now, here's another thing from my perspective as well. And I'm like you said, I'm not going to get political on it, but we're gonna go hood on this one. and when I explain this, you're gonna understand why.
All right.
When you go in somebody's backyard and you disrespect somebody's backyard, that means anybody else that's outside your backyard can do the same thing.
Agreed.
Translation: at our own, we got our own people, American citizens, be natural born citizens, infiltrate the Capitol building, but rocks to break the windows and guns to get inside.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think enemies overseas is looking at now?
That's the first thing I thought of.
They see us vulnerable, which means we could be touched.
It's true. It's just like,
So,
I mean, come on now, because we're used to seeing this, like I said, in a Colombia, in a El Salvador, in parts of Africa and Asia and whatnot. But
right,
this being displayed in the United States, it shows in a sense of vulnerability.
right. And like I said, we could be touched. That drawer. Yeah. So, yeah. So that's it. We could be touched. So that's one thing I'm saying. Bottom drawer, Carly. So the thing that got me is the fact that here's another thing that caught my eye or my attention is that these guys knew where to go. Now, if they wanted to bring the ruckus, there's a place called Southeast they could have went to, but we know they're not going to do that. So,
well, yeah, I mean, let's be realistic about this. If they really wanted smoke, it's like, and I've noticed that if somebody really wants quote unquote war with the other side, they know where to go,
right?
Like you said. But they didn't want to. They just wanted to be seen. I mean, you saw they were taking selfies with the Capitol Police that were trying to, hold the line and whatnot. They were taking selfies of themselves sitting in chairs, congressional chairs, and things of that nature. It was a show at the end of the day. Yeah, they don't want to go to Southeast.
No, they're not doing that.
It's like, let's be realistic about it. It's like if you really want to find a group of people that you don't particularly care for, you know where to find them.
Exactly. You know where to go. And you like you said, you want all the smoke.
Exactly.
These guys, like I said, they wanted attention.
Oh,
but
yeah.
it is sad that one person has lost a life. Lost a life. So
yeah, I think 15 people were arrested, but are they going to be charged?
Yeah, are they?
That's my whole thing.
Out. So to me, they're not. If they're going to get charged, I don't know for what though. Trespassing, because you escorted them out.
Right.
If they got footage of the person that actually murdered that lady, then yeah, that person should be charged if they can find that person.
Absolutely.
But as for the other ones, I mean, you call a break and entering, call it
vandalism.
I think somebody actually did take something out of Nancy Pelosi's office, even though it may be a letter. It's still a federal offense. You can't do that with letters.
Exactly.
I think they did that, but with that being said, though, like I said, you escorted them out. So, how much of a charge you going to give them?
That's the question.
So, I mean, they had a chance to. If you escort them out, you had a chance to put handcuffs on them.
Well, I mean, the one thing, and I said this earlier. The funny thing is, for the 15 people that did go to jail, they go into jail in a DC jail. Need I say more?
Well, I've never been to jail. I heard of stuff.
I've never been to jail either. But I tell you one thing, I would not want to be a part of that group going to a DC jail. Let's just put it like that.
Yeah. But I mean, honestly, the worst is yet to come because we still got at least 14 days left before Inauguration Day.
And you remember the last Inauguration Day,
right? Okay, she's fine. Let her rest. You get your hair wrapped so you can go to bed. But yeah, it's gonna be. You got, like I said, 14 days left. Like I said, 14 days to go before Inauguration Day. And honestly, as much as Joe Biden and Kamala Harris wants to be on the Capitol building, while the rest of the world is like potentially virtual,
I
think they need to put this indoors and have a whole virtual inauguration. because
I agree.
you don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, even though he's not going to be president in 14 days, out of respect for the country, still got to call him the president.
Right.
President Trump has basically encouraged this event that's going on because he had a that's for the second time could have said these guys are domestic terrorists.
Right.
He chose not to say that. He said to go home, stop this. I'm proud of you. I love you. You come on now.
I agree.
You could have said a lot of other things. You could have said rioters. You could have said all sorts of things. But
Right.
I'm gonna get back to you real quick, man. Let me check on my daughter. Hold on.
Oh, it's no problem at all, brother. It's no problem at all. Well, yeah, family. It's it's just interesting. That's all I got to say. And it's like I said, I think that if there is an inauguration in 14 days, Lord forbid, I don't want it to happen, but I have a feeling that there will be more riots. And, obviously, hopefully the National Guard is deployed and, working in conjunction with local law enforcement agencies for safety and purposes and whatnot. I myself will be at home, so I'm not going to worry about it. But for those that plan on going, be safe as possible. Because even 4 years ago, say everybody be so safe as possible. If you're gonna go, then go. It's all about respect and whatnot. But it's the sad thing is it's like given the fact that if they have to keep it indoors and just do it virtually and whatnot, it's it's breaking a time-honored tradition because a certain group of people are not getting their way. It's like it's rewarding bad behavior. You know what I mean? I mean, you're a parent. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I try not to, but sometimes I'm a sucker for them with when my kid smiles. But
right.
Like I said, it's much deeper than that. This is going on for years when it comes to certain groups of people and everything. From the state of Virginia and the DMV area, because obviously we all know they're like two different worlds.
Right.
Like the event in Charlottesville, the event in Richmond today,
right,
and even certain areas in Maryland. This been going on for years and stuff. We seen it with our own eyes what's going on, and it's like we don't know when it's going to end. We do know, but we do know a common denominator, and it is the president encouraging this stuff when he could have said from the very beginning, "Okay, I do not agree with this. These guys are domestic terrorists." And by him acknowledging that, the FBI would have went full force to shut these guys down.
And the crazy thing is, at the end of the day, because you remember the guys in Michigan that I guess they were trying to assassinate the governor, right?
Yeah,
and here's my thing. What I saw today was a bunch of grown men. Okay. For the most part, I think there might have been a couple of teenagers there, but I've seen a bunch of grown men and whatnot. Their actions were their actions.
Yeah,
and it's easy to say, well, let's blame, it's the president and whatnot. But when the president's dead 30, 50 years from now, these groups of people are just going to have their same cause, just with a different name. That's the crazy thing. And they're going to, it's like the Dylan Roofs. I mean, the list can go on and on. It's not going to go away. And they usually they usually go after soft targets. I never thought I would look at the Capitol as a soft target, though. But, usually it's schools, churches, places like that, so because when I saw the guns, I actually thought they were going to open fire because they actually even chased this one policeman. He was running from them. And I'm surprised he didn't just start shooting at him, but that's just another story for another day.
Oh yeah, but like I said, the night is still young.
Yeah, you're right.
Like even though they got that curfew going on, actually I heard there's curfew in Virginia too from the governor.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's where is it? It's at midnight, but ain't nothing open, so it's moot.
But I mean, but here's the thing that actually got me a little upset. So I was watching CNN, and they actually I forgot who did the interview, but they interviewed the current mayor of DC. First, he
Right,
was
right,
former Chief Ramsey, which is good dude, by the way. But the current mayor, I forget her name, and I apologize for that. DC, everybody in DC area forgot about her. I apologize for the name, but
right,
they asked her a bunch of questions, and she was being very political. She did not try to question, but more like uh, go around it, so to speak.
right, right,
The first, and I forgot who interviewed the speaker. Asked her was if this was because what did he say? He said he felt like the double standard between the Proud Boys
right.
and Black Lives Matter. So he asked her if this was Black Lives Matters. Can you honestly that these guys would have been escorted off the premises or would have been in handcuffs? So she didn't answer that question. She went around it, saying like she had no idea because what Capitol Police is going to do about it.
Right. It's
Which
Muriel.
Maloney.
It's Muriel Bozer. That's her name.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's a bunch of lies right there because we already seen what would have happened for stuff like that. So they just talking about the curfew because at the time they had like maybe 10 minutes for the curfew kicked in, which was 6 o'clock Eastern time.
Right, right.
They asked her if anybody's outside of their homes in the streets at 6 o'clock at night during this curfew, would anybody be arrested? And they're showing footage at the same time. Yeah, my daughter did not want to go to sleep. Hold on, let me put the password real quick for that second.
No problem at all, man. But yeah, it's just, at the end of the day, it's accountability. And, regardless of, I always say, regardless of who's president or not, I know people are going to do certain things. It's easy to play the blame game and say, well, he or she said I should do. No, be an adult. You wanted to do something and you did it, and now you need to take responsibility for it. And it's like I said, accountability and people getting arrested, that's what needs to happen. Period. But you were saying, Chris?
Yeah, I think I got like 5 more minutes before I get off because I'll
okay. It's all good, man. It's all good.
But he asked her, okay, so it's 6 o'clock. Everybody's outside, including the Proud Boys or the people right here walking around in the streets, leaving the Capitol building. If they're not indoors, are they going to go to jail? Are they going to get arrested? And she went around that question again, saying, well, that depends on Capitol Police, D.C., and the very police that's coming from Maryland and Virginia as well.
So she put it on the states? I mean, because the federal, I get, because it's a federal building, it's federal jurisdiction. So I get that aspect, but
basically, basic translation, ain't nobody gonna get arrested in curfew because she had a perfect chance to say yes, and she just went around it. To me, like, you got to make it out of all the things. And I read articles on her making a stand against President Trump on a lot of things. This is one. If you want to get the people on your side, you take a stand right there and say yes. If these guys are outside, especially running around in the Capitol area and stuff like that, and refuse to go inside, they need to be arrested. She went around that question. To my opinion, I didn't like that. That was very political of her. Sometimes you got to be direct.
Yeah, I believe. I mean, that's why I can't stand politicians, anyways. Because the old saying, "How do you know when a politician's lying?" Is when they open their mouth. So it's just. I mean, let's just call it what it is. I mean, politicians are very trained, and she's been the mayor since 2015. Nothing bad against her. She's done a lot of great things and whatnot.
Yeah,
but
I heard great things. But
this
one here would have been a great moment for the people at DC saying, yes, our mayor has our back. We'll make sure we're going to be safe. And maybe behind closed doors, she's still doing that. But at this moment right here, I think she dropped the ball.
Right.
She could have made a big statement like, okay, I don't care about who's in the streets right now that's causing trouble in our city. I'm protecting the people of the city right now. These people got to go to jail.
Right.
Bring the party wagon up, whatever like that. We going to lock him up. And she got the green light from the Capitol Police, federal government as well. So they could be locked in federal jail as well.
Right.
So I'm like, it ain't like you're not gonna run out of jail. The party's
Exactly.
just lock up in there for the night or whatever, but do something. And the fact that she went around that question, I didn't like it at all. I didn't like that part of it right there.
Got you. And before you get off, the crazy thing is, I was talking about this with some colleagues today, man. It's like, you know, there's still bigger fish to fry right now in 2021. And with stuff like this, it's just getting in the way, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
in particular, a new strain of the pandemic. I'm not going to name any names, but it's been identified, you know, in Europe and now in Georgia. You know,
Ironically,
it's
out of all places, Georgia.
well, I mean, you know, that's the number one state that said we're not shutting down. So, you know, they were fully open. I think that was the only state in this country you can go to a nightclub and a strip club if you wanted to. I mean, we discussed this months
gotta go
ago.
somewhere.
Yeah, it's like we discussed that, you know, like matter of fact, they like Georgia had the most flights of last year compared to any other state because people were like, well, hey, man, I want to have fun. I'm going to Atlanta. So
yeah, you gotta get your chicken wings somewhere.
So it's just like I said, there's bigger problems right now. So with this, it's like I said, I just hope that there's some accountability and you know we go from there. I mean, because at the end of the day, you know, it's not going to change, and we know that unfortunately there's probably going to be a lot more events, and people are going to need to be more just as vigilant as ever, depending on where they go. You know, they have to be, you know, the whole stay safe now is real. I think today really proves that. You know, no matter where you at, it's just like, and this is why more people would rather be at home than anywhere else nowadays because they know that, you know, the chances of anything popping off are just greater than, you know, heck, I almost saw a fight the other day because I hurt my back last week and I was at the pharmacy.
Oh man.
And a guy cut in front of the line. So of course, you know, and he's trying to be slick and he's looking at the other medicine that's on one of the cabinets or whatnot. And the guy looked at, the guy says to him straight up, hey man, what are you doing? The line's back there. He's like, oh, I'm just looking at the medicine. He said, medicine my A, get your A back there. He's like, I'm not in the mood for this S today. I'm trying to get my medicine. I was done. I'm like, okay, you two old guys fight it out. I'm just trying to get my Motrin and muscle relaxing.
Yeah. Should have got popcorn while you're there too, man.
That's the world we live in.
Oh yeah. There's a few times I had to get people the mean look and stuff because they cut a line during the holiday season.
I believe that. Oh, I believe that. That would not surprise me whatsoever. You know, people get antsy. You know, fights happen. You know, it's people are just special, man. But hey, man, go ahead, check on the family. I greatly appreciate you coming in, and Happy New Year to you and the family and whatnot. And you know, hey, we're gonna do our best to stay safe.
Exactly. I mean, honestly, all we can do now is just focus on life, focus on our business. That hopefully one day our businesses that we bring in a lot of capital can make a difference and start selecting the people that we want into politics to handle some things and stuff. Because right now it's just, I mean, with everything going on with the pandemic, everything going on with social injustice, now going on with domestic terrorists, everything like that. When you look at people that's inside of Congress, everything like that, you don't see as much of minorities as you want it to be. That's actually representing our history, the culture, and everything. That's in our community. You don't see that much. We're seeing local politics, like councilmen, mayors, all that. But on a national stage, represent your district or your state and stuff like that. It's hard to see that because old money is still there.
Basically,
and because there's no so-called term limits, in Congress, the House of Representatives and the Senate, you have people that's basically career congressmen. They don't want to go any higher. Their salary, if I remember correctly, is maybe peaks at $150,000 a year.
Right.
So imagine that for one term, which is like I think the Senate is no, House of Representatives about 3 years, the Senate is about 6 years.
Right.
So $150,000 times 6 for the Senate, that's a lot of change. Minus taxes, of course, but by that time you do a fundraiser thing, you find loophole to get the big tax break.
Oh yeah, and then plus I mean, one thing, DC is like most major cities, but Washington D.C. is a connections town. So these people, they no matter what side they're on, they get elected, they get connections with major corporations, they get connections with foreign corporations, and they're very well taken care of once they leave office, or while they're in office and whatnot.
Yeah. So the problem with that is that because they didn't have no term limits, you got career politicians that's been there for maybe at least minimum 15 years.
Right.
And they've been there for so long that sometimes they get out of touch with the community.
Right.
I mean, don't get me. I mean, if I make $150,000 a year and I've been in the office for years, I'm gonna be out of touch with the community because I can't live with them no more. I make too much money. I'm living good. Lobster and steak every night for me. I can't go back. I can't go back to the hood and be like, hey, what can I do to fix you guys? I can't relate to them. You want people now that's relatable to the community to matter. But if you got these guys in there like Mitch McConnell, who just got voted back in again this year for another 6 years.
Well, I mean,
it's tough. So we gotta get, at least for the community, we gotta have a new political party. And then you also gotta have, and also, like you said, everybody gotta do their part to vote locally and up. President election, but start locally. And then if you get used to that, then build yourself up. Don't wait every 4 years. Try to vote at least every year as possible, at least locally, to help people in your community, and then build up from there. And that right there to me is outside of me, is very helpful in building up the community and making laws pass to help everything out. Keep having the same people in there, it's gonna be the same mindset over and over and over again.
Right, absolutely. And if there's no access to capital, then it's kind of worthless at the end of the day.
Right.
But hey, look at the upside. The only reason why I'm happy Georgia went blue today is because I know I'm getting extra money. So that's all that matters to me at this point. So you want to plug your business, sir, before we call it a night?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that right now, man.
I heard that. I was like, okay, good. There we go. Now give me the rest of my stimulus, bro. So
yeah, I want
and hopefully they do something for their district. But hey, we'll see what happens, because nowadays, especially, talk is very, very cheap. I don't need emotional speeches. I need financial access to capital.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at with it right now. I don't need a good emotional speech. Those days are done. So,
yeah. So if anybody wants to get their website done and stuff like that, my link's right there, regionalconsultants.com. Your media is set up, everything like that. Go to regionalconsultants.com. I'll take care of all that stuff. If you just want just a quick audit report on how your social media page looking like, or how's your website is based on Google My Business, come to regionalconsultant.com. I'll do that for you for free, so you see where you stand at, and then also a report will show you exactly what can you do to make your page better, to get your chance to be on the first page of Google. Matter of fact, I did one for you, LJ. Like I said, very simple. It showed you exactly where you stand at. It shows you what else could be done to make it even better, to be ranked in Google, to be ranked in Facebook. Mm-hmm. So it's an awesome tool. It's an awesome tool that I have. That I have my luxury that I can do for free. So feel free to go to regionalconsultant.com. You can contact me through there, or, and I'm about to type it in right now as well. You can email me directly at christopher.edwards@reachingoutconsultants.com.
And the report is definitely impeccable, very, very professional. I loved every moment of it. All right, this guy will get your business going. Trust me on that one.
Yes, sir. But when they get going, I think my daughter's waking up again, so it's gonna be a long night for me.
Fatherhood calls.
Well, I'll spoil them to death, so you know how that goes.
I know that's right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on tonight, man, and definitely stay safe. All right, brother?
Yes, sir. You too, man. You gotta stay safe up there.
All right, brother. Take care. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Christopher Edwards, Reaching Out Consultants. There is his information. I've posted it. It is in the chat and whatnot. Definitely thank you guys for chiming in. It's greatly appreciated. I hope you guys have a great, great night, and stay safe. And I'm hoping that, we do not see this anytime soon. Is like I said, I have a lot of respect for our representatives, our law enforcement, and our military personnel and whatnot. So stay safe, continuously make money moves, family. Like I said, we can agree to disagree and be respectful all at the same time. And I think that one of the biggest problems in society is that we are not as respectful towards one another. And clearly, last year's pandemic hasn't taught us that much in regards to being respectful towards one another. And hopefully people will jump on board when it comes to that. All right. So stay safe, continuously make money moves like you got nothing to lose. And I will see you guys later. Take care.